So welcome to our next Talks of Resistance. We have Hicham Houdaïfa as a guest from toutes, lettres from Morocco, and today we're going to talk about the climate crisis and social problems in Morocco and the combination of those two struggles.
Hi, Dante. Thank you very much for inviting me in your program. My name is Hicham Houdaïfa. I am investigative reporter for like 25 years in Morocco. And we created with my colleague and wife, Kenza, a publishing company called Toutes, lettres after the Moroccan authorities shut down our newspaper back in 2010. So when we created it, it was for us an opportunity to make books about social topics using the investigative tools, but also we did some humanities, some social science books in a manner to be understood by a large part of the population, and not those humanities that has this complex way of writing and exposing ideas. So we do this. We are celebrating this year the 10th anniversary of Toutes, lettres, and we're so happy to make those books with young journalists that contribute to our books, especially the one that we shortly will talk about the climate change and the social emergencies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thanks for introducing yourself. So I'll introduce myself. So I'm Dante. I come from the project Locals United, and our main topic is intersectional climate justice. So we connect the fights against the climate crisis with the fights for social justice. And of course, a lot of intersectional topics are play a big role, like racism, sexism, and other forms of discrimination. And we give workshops. We have a big social media account where we post a lot about different topics. And we've also written a brochure called Climate Crisis, 500 Years of Resistance. So it also talks about the connection between climate crisis and colonialism. And we have another brochure that is going to be presented at the end of the month that's going to talk about the connection between the climate crisis and ableism. And so you said that Toutes Lettres is a publication company, and so you've presented or you've brought out a book shortly called Morocco, Climate Justice, Social Crisis, and it's a collection of different texts with different authors. And could you tell us about the collection?
Thank you, Dante. And we surely are in the same way of thinking, because we started by making books about women discrimination in Morocco, children problems, stuff like that. And I did a lot of field work. And by doing these investigations and this reportage, I saw that climate change is really connected with the social problems in Morocco. And that was the idea, because when you talk about environment in Morocco, it's like it's not a problem for us, it's the problem of the North. I mean, it's partially true, because the North is responsible of all those problems that we have in the South. But we're more keen to talk about like job opportunities, stuff like that, instead of talking about environment. So the idea was to show the Moroccans that the environment or climate change is not something like, it's not a bourgeois thing. It's something that affects their life, their daily life. We have migration, internal migration because of that, because of water or lack of water in Morocco. We have problems of losing jobs in some areas because of that. So we tried to do a book with our young journalists and young apprentices about all those aspects using investigative tool and reportage. So people talk about their life, and in En toutes lettres, it's very important that this testimony is at the heart of the text. So it was really well received in Morocco with a lot of coverage. So our goal was to raise awareness about that and say, hey guys, environment is not, it's something that is affecting today your life. And I think in Morocco we are starting to consider it because of the problem of water supply. We have a real problem of water in Morocco that will increase in the coming years. So people now are really thinking about, environment is not something like secondary, it's something really affecting our life. So if we did so, it's something very precious for us.
Mm-hmm. And so when you're talking about challenges that Morocco is facing because of the climate crisis, you already mentioned one of those, that's water shortages and
yes,
and droughts. And are there more challenges, or what else does it kind of provoke?
We have a lot of internal migration because of lack of water. We have this problem of oases that is disappearing, and as the oases are disappearing, the population, they are going to other places, mostly in the suburbs of poor towns. We also have the problem with the nomads. We have the nomads in Morocco that for centuries they were like having their roads all over the year, and with the problems of water shortage, they are obliged to settle down in a very, very poor areas, creating more crisis, creating more poverty. We have also, because also of water shortages, we have a lot of children, mostly girls, that will not go to school because we need them to go and bring water for a distance of 5 to 10 kilometers. So the problems are really, really affecting a lot of our citizens. They're affecting them in a way that they are poorer, less educated, and the consequences are very hard for women, especially for young girls, that because of this climate change, they are obliged not to go to school, to get married at 15, 16 years old. So we have this problem too, or working at 15, 16 years old as a maid in a big towns. So a lot of problems are linked to this climate change, and people are more and more getting aware of this connection between this climate change and their life. So yeah, and we in the book we talked about those problems in a very diverse and long way to make people aware of those problems.
And so would you say that the challenges around water and drought that Morocco is facing, is it a problem that is also caused through history? So I think Morocco is also one of the countries that has big influence through France and colonialism, and does that play a role?
There is a big damage made by the north and affecting the countries of the south. Like when we're talking about climate change in Morocco, we know also that the solution is not just Moroccan. The solution is international. If the US and China doesn't stop their mess with the environment, even if we do the best practices that we can, it will not change the situation. I mean, we change it like little, but the big problem is this mess made by the North in the name of economic growth, and is affecting a lot countries like us, sub-Saharan countries too, like countries like Nigeria, countries like Ivory Coast or Senegal. And this is a big problem, and this is also is linked with the climate justice that is for me central. We have to talk about that, and we have to raise this problem every time we can. because it's not just our problem, it's more the North problem that is affecting us. If we connect this subject with colonialism, Morocco is a market for France, but also Morocco is starting this new policies of green energy, but it's a green energy not for Moroccans, it's a green energy for Europeans. And the implications that we did, one of the texts that was about the solar plants that are using actually German techniques, and we saw that when we go to the villages surrounding the solar plants, it affects a lot, the solar plants affects a lot those villages in terms of water supply, because the solar plants use a lot of water. Some of the population, they don't have water to drink, or water for their fields. So it's also a question of, you know, why we're doing this. We're doing this to have some money from Europe, while it is affecting us. And the second example that is really in connection with Europe and in connection with the, let's say, the result of colonialism is our agriculture. It is a very extensive water agriculture because of the European demand in terms of fruits and legumes and stuff. And the Moroccans don't, all the water that we need is used by this agriculture. So to bring some money for Morocco, but in the same times, it has a lot of damage for the population, and all the problems that I just talked about in terms of internal migration, in terms of scholarization of, I mean, dropping for schools because of those problems and stuff. So yes, there is this, you know, demands from Europe that are met by Morocco, and that have a bad implications to the population. I saw two examples. I told you two examples, but may have another examples, but the two big examples are the green energy, what we call a green energy, and we are doubting about this denomination. And the second example is extensive water type of agriculture that is really ruining Morocco in terms of water supply.
I also got a chance to read one of those texts, and I was wondering, could you explain more why green energy is such a problem? Why it's not only a problem that most of the energy that will be kind of produced through this technology will go back to Europe, but why in specific is green energy? Why is there doubts that it's even green energy? So
we're not in the book, we didn't talk about all type of green energy. We talked about solar energy and how those solar plants in south of Morocco are affecting badly the life of the population surrounding those plants. And that's what interests me. You can't make a green energy, a solar green energy, while your own population is suffering. You know, it doesn't have no sense. One, two, it didn't change the habits of the population in terms of using energy. Like when you go to the people, I mean, the villages or the small towns surrounding those solar plants, they still use fuel energy, carbon energy. So it didn't really affect the habits. And that's the most important thing for us. If you make solar plants to give green energy for Europe, it doesn't interest me as a Moroccan citizen. I mean, I have no problem with it, but it has at the first place to serve the interests of the Moroccan population. If it's just for exports and given the publicity of Morocco as, yeah, Morocco is the leader of the southern countries in terms of, but it's not true. When you go and see how people are living, it affects badly the life of people, and it didn't change the habits in terms of using energy for Moroccans. So that's my problems with those solar energy. I'm not talking about green energy in general. And I'm using investigation as a tool. I go there, I talk to people, I see how people are living, and I make conclusions from that. So that's that's the deal with this text. Yeah.
And maybe one last question: how can we secure the water supplies that are so needed, and stop desertification in order to release some of the struggles that the people are facing in.
Very difficult. It's a very difficult question. It needs a real commitment from Moroccan authorities in terms of, choices they are making. I think the first thing that we have to stop extensive water agriculture type that we have in Morocco. We can't use water for agriculture as we used to do 30 years ago. You have to know that 80% of the water goes for agriculture. So that's not good. Even like they try to find new ways to have water, but it always serves the interests of big agriculture owners. That's for me something very, very important, because it would release a lot of water back to the population. The second point is we have to raise awareness for Moroccans to use water in a better way. We still have people using water as something that it's like we have water, we don't have a problem of water. So we still have to raise awareness in terms of like in TV, in radio, talking to Moroccans, so that rationalize their use of water. That's something that can help also. What else can I say? And most of all, we have to also help those geographical places that play this role to stop desertification, like oasis, to find ways to make them live, not to let them go, because if you let them go, deserts will go further north, and we'll have this problem more and more. So we need that the authorities take care of those places of resistance, like we say, those oases that are a real barrage to deserts. So I think if we rationalize agriculture, if we take care of our oases, and if we raise awareness in terms of consumption of water in the big towns of Morocco, we will help the cause of water for every Moroccan in the coming years.
Could you maybe explain what an oasis is? Because I read it in the text, but I couldn't really imagine what it was concretely. Is it a forest, or is it?
In the south of Morocco, in the deserts, you have water, and surrounding the water, you have palm trees and different kind of agriculture. It's like a paradise in the desert, and it plays this role of stopping the deserts going further. So it's a beautiful place. We have a beautiful oasis in Morocco, in the south of Morocco, and it's also like touristic place. If people are interested to do like ecological tourism, it's a very nice place to go and to help, because we have to help the population to stay in their oasis instead of getting away and going to big towns. So that's what oases are.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, thanks for explaining that, and thanks for answering the questions. Maybe for our people, for the people that are watching, so the collection itself, they can read it in French only, and there's going to be a translation in German, right?
Yes, we have two texts already translated in English. That you guys, if you like to share them, it will be a pleasure for us. And our friends from Desorient, who are our partners in Germany, they are doing their best to translate all the book. So perhaps we will have a German version in the coming months.
Oh, okay. That would really be really cool to read then.
Yeah. Thank you, Dante. Thank you very much for your for your invitation, and looking forward to talk to you later. Okay.
Thanks. And thanks for coming by. Thanks for saying yes to our invitation. And we'll probably, I don't know, share stuff on Instagram. I don't know.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.